Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another. I always love I love a good wave on a Zoom call. You just think, we just didn't ever get to do that. I think before, and then we just got so used to doing it during COVID. Now we can wave at our computers. Just is a nice thing to do. Hello, everyone. Um, we've got some questions here. So if you haven't done this for a little while, you go to the dashboard and put your questions in on the ask a question button, and we'll work through questions such as very basic, how do I do my first Obvio event, and have questions about that, or perhaps some advanced questions around how to do some integrations with other systems. Inevitably, we talk about events in general, online events, and how you might be thinking about how to do that. And then also tech questions often come up, production questions, microphones, lighting, cameras, all that sort of stuff. We tend to look at too. So nice to see everyone. Um, Hello, Heather. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. He's slaving away on the keyboard, supporting all the people, returning answers to questions in the ticket system. It's awesome. And now reading out some questions for us today, which is great. What's our first one?
Yeah, so this one's from Robin. She wants to know how she can set up a link that gives people a choice of multiple dashboards with event days and times to sign up for.
Hmm. Hey, Robin, um have you got a CRM integration? Are you using something?
No.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
just sending out the sign up link to go
Yep.
into the dashboard with which worked great, but I'm going to do an event every week this month.
Okay.
So I thought if somebody couldn't register for like this Friday, they may choose one next week. And I know Anrik was talking about that, but I couldn't remember what week we were discussing that.
Yeah, if it wasn't last week, it was the week before. That's what it feels like. And we went down a couple of lines, but it really, which is why it prompted me to ask if you were using an integration already, because there could be something done in there. So essentially, what we were talking about is the way of having a tag and tagging someone as to the date and time that they were wanting to sign up for. And then on your dashboard, you're choosing to filter the buttons, have a few different buttons, and have a different button showing for people that have been tagged with a particular date and time. And that button is the only one that they see. That's one way of doing it. There's quite a few ways of doing this, but um, possibly the easiest way to manage without a bunch of integrations would be to have separate events. You can, once you've created your event in Obvio, you can duplicate it and make as many as you need to. And now you'll have a unique sign up link for each one of your dates. And now you can have direct links in your email. Here's the four options of or whatever of sign up. Does that sound like it would work, or am I
Yeah,
missing something?
I thought no, I thought to do separate dashboards for each one.
Mm.
Is there a way, like what would be the easiest way for me to just have one link that, okay, sign up here, that would take them to then the choices?
Well, I guess the question is it a problem thinking of a scenario of where people came, if you had one event and you had say you had a countdown to when the next one was starting, does it really matter if someone uh came at a time and saw a different time um than they were expecting?
I don't care if they see it. Like I have some flyers that I wanted to print out. So instead of putting like, 4 or 5 links to different ones there, I just have one QR code that will take them to a link to give them a choice of which one
Yeah.
that you want to sign up for.
And so what difference does it make to you as to which ones they sign up for? So
It,
help
it
me.
doesn't it doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
just want them to be able to, because I don't have all the CRM stuff done,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
worked really well for me just to have them sign into the dashboard themselves. So
Yeah.
if they could see like here's 4 different dashboards and they pick one they want to sign into because they have 4 different times, I'm good with that. I just not really sure how to
So
best manage it.
so the way that this event works that we're in now is that we just use the exact same dashboard every week, and we use the same. People can use the sign up. All of that is all the same. Um, I I don't know that you need. It doesn't sound like you need to actually have people sign up to an individual date and time. If it's like this one. We're saying every Wednesday, this is when it's on. Use this sign up link. You'll join. You'll click the button on the dashboard to join Zoom, and that's it. Am I missing something? I don't know that you need to have them sign up for separate times. You just tell them when the times are.
Okay, because I wasn't going to have it the same, like it's not going to be every Friday. I don't know what time is best, so I was going to try different, like one
We'll
in the
do that too.
morning and evening. It doesn't matter.
No. So so I like you can send an email that says I'm going to do 20 different times across the week, and you just use the same dashboard every time, and they 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 just log in the same way and they join the meeting, and that's it.
How will I show them which times that they're going to attend? How will I know which one they're going into?
You're
Will I
using
ahead of time?
let's think of this as a physical room. You use the same room,
Right.
right? And so the link is everything's all the same. And now, yeah. And
Yeah,
so,
I understand that part, but if I have one like Friday at 10 o'clock and then next Monday at 6 p.m.,
yeah.
how will I know which one that they're wanting to go into so that my emails that get sent out to them are appropriate?
Okay. So now it's really signing up. You're wanting to be able to target the individuals for a particular date and time. Is
Yeah, because
that's
I
the
mean, my emails would say that, your event is starting Monday at 6 p.m. rather than it's starting soon.
yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it's a CRM thing to do, right?
Okay.
Because really what you're managing is is a list, and you're wanting to gather data, which is really just a basic form, but you're wanting to get a um uh in your list of attendees, or in your your list in general that you're working on. Remember this, that Ovio is not designed to manage your community,
I I know.
right? And so a customer relationship management system is exactly that. It's wanting to manage that relationship over a longer period of time. And so what you want is a system that is tracking whether people when people signed up, what they came to, what they didn't, so that then you can target your ongoing emails, not just for this month, but ongoing. And you can continue to manage that. And that bridges the gap between different Ovio events. So it's not to say that you that you can't, hack Obvio a little bit to sort of work for you initially. Um, but you can't have all the features of a CRM
Right.
if you're wanting to do that, right?
Right. It
Um,
just works so well, Grant, They can
well,
sign
it
in
works
so
well.
easily themselves to the
It
event.
it works so well as an event, an online event platform, right? And so that's what it's great for. It's not a great CRM.
I know.
So
And I wasn't thinking it that way, but Anric put that in my mind when he was talking about it. And I'm like, maybe I could just do it that way. So,
yeah,
but
he was
I know
using
it's more
integration.
complicated.
He was
Okay.
using an integration and was able to create forms elsewhere. And we were just talking about, do you just have a individual dashboards and people just choose those? And look, really, that is the way that you could do it. However you send, how are you sending emails to people? Literally just from your email, like just from
Yeah.
your
But I
email,
was thinking that when they register the emails that are generated through Avio,
right?
that I wanted to be able to distinguish it rather than having to do it
Yeah.
individually. But I mean, it's not like it's going to be 100 people, so I could just do it myself. But I'll get it
Well,
together. Like,
I th- I think with the absence of a CRM, separate dashboards is the way to do it.
okay,
And then now you're sending a sign up link. If you want this date, sign up at this address. If you want this date, sign up at this address. And now you've got those groupings as individual events in Obvio, and now you can broadcast to them knowing that they're the ones that they signed up for. Yeah.
okay. I'll try it that way, and then I'll get it together, and hopefully by the end of the month I have my CRM and all of this so that it's running like magic. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Next question.
Chris says sometimes when I'm editing a duplicated SMS or email broadcast, it's suddenly asked if I want to save or cancel when I want to do neither. I want to keep on editing. My question is, are you aware of this bug or am I doing something wrong?
I don't think Chris is with us at the moment. Um, uh, so I'm just going to have a very quick look because we have changed. Remember, we talked about how the um, the alert box that comes up has an X in it, and let's see here. Yeah. Um, so there's two things, Chris, if you watch this in a recording. One is that there is I guess I can show you, I'll just show quickly for visual learners. Um, share. So just while I'm getting this ready, if you've got any questions, you can go to the dashboard and ask a question. Um, so, as an example, if I'm editing a broadcast and I click out, this is what's coming up. And what Chris is saying is he doesn't want to discard. He also doesn't want to save. He just wants to continue. And so that's what the X will do. That'll just close that, and you can continue editing. What I'm aware of, and that we're working on, is that if you were selecting text, now I'm still holding my mouse button down, and I release. That's when we see this come up, which it shouldn't do. It shouldn't do that, and so it's a tiny bug. It's surprising how much I've noticed that I do it. Like when I want to select, I just want to select all this text. See that? And it's simply because I'm releasing my mouse button outside of the window. So if I don't do that, then it's fine. That's probably what you're experiencing, where you're feeling like why is it just randomly coming up? It's not quite randomly, but it does feel like it. And so it's a tiny little bug that we want to work on why it does that. Cool. Next question.
So this one's from Marla. There's three parts to it. So the first one is there a preferred template for a 3-day live event, or is it just up to personal preference? The second portion is question about hosting webinars in Obvio versus Zoom. I'm planning to do several in the next month and wonder if I should set up a simple Obvio dashboard for the webinars. And then what's the best size logo for the Obvio dashboard?
Great. 3 questions. Nice, Marla. So first, so there is no template necessarily that is best for a 3-day event. Really, Obvio is best for a 3-day event. In that we've kind of designed it and lots of the events that are ran on Obvio are 3-day events. And so yeah, it is just personal preference. Sometimes what it comes down to is thinking about how many buttons and things you might have. So there's been some events might have lots of buttons that you want to pushing up at the top, and so the cards template can work really well. That classic can work really well because it'll just keep growing. Whereas like the Nifty 50, the sort of half, there's ideally the buttons on the side that are always there, really only having 3 or 4 is ideal, right? Buttons. So see how that kind of
Yeah, I was thinking about cards and just it's my first 3-day. I want to keep it simple. And that also kind of rolls into my next question about like Robin, I'm hosting multiple master classes and I did my first 2 on Zoom, just like I thought it would be easier. Just, oh, I'll just send them the Zoom link. But I have for tech, some of the tech stuff wasn't great. So I couldn't see the people on the Zoom and I have no idea who actually showed up. I did have them register, but there was no real way of knowing like who was there, how long were they there. And I'm, again, keeping in mind, I'm trying to keep it simple. Is adding, like building a simple Avio dashboard the best way to go in terms of just rinsing and repeating and using that site?
Yeah, I think you're touching on the key benefits of Obvio and the reason that we have it, and that is that we want to distinguish the experience they're having with you from the 50 Zoom meetings they've had that week. It's like it's not just another Zoom link that they're getting. It's something a little bit different. It's a little more custom. And the dashboard is a home for your event for before, during, and after the event has happened. And so, even though you want to keep it really simple, still having a place that you can have a little bit of content, have a PDF download or something, having a place for that to sit is really valuable. The other thing is that the way that Obvio is kind of managing the Zoom integration and that Zoom's all included is that you're getting access to an enterprise level Zoom account. And so now you're getting a bunch of some features you may not care about or need at the moment, but the fact that it's a full HD video inside of Zoom actually makes quite a big difference. And it, once again, distinguishes it as different. It's like, oh, I'm in Zoom, but it looks great. It looks really good. And so that's one thing, that unlimited cloud recording, the lots of breakout rooms. There's several things that you get in this that is different. It sounds like you might have been using Zoom webinar. Was it a webinar?
Zoom meetings. It
was meeting.
when I was screen sharing, when you
Uh-huh.
screen share, I
Yeah, you
couldn't
couldn't see
get my
everything.
second monitor. It was user error.
Right. Okay. I see.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah, one of the other things that we do around attendance data is tracking that attendance data, and so then going back into Zoom, sorry, into Obvio, and then seeing the getting an export of how long people were on and when they came on, and all of that is really helpful. Uh, and so yeah, I think you'll find even if you don't have a big need for a extensive dashboard with lots of data on it, lots of content, it still is a good experience for people to go through that, and it scales for you, right? If it works big, it works small, and so yeah.
And so now that you're speaking, I think I was thinking about this the wrong way. I was
Okay.
thinking I was going to need a separate webinar dashboard and a separate 3-day dashboard, but I can actually have one and
Yeah,
then just tag people who buy for the 3-day
you
or
could.
something similar. Like, would you suggest setting up 2 dashboards, or since this is all kind of in service of my event, do I keep them
Yeah.
all in place?
uh yeah, there's lots of personal preference there. I guess the advantages of having it separate uh is that your attendee list is really distinct. It's really clear,
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
how they've come, and that it is a separate event. It's a different event, and so giving a slightly different experience would be good for that if it looks a little bit differently and things like that. Now that people are paying money, I assume, then there's a little bit different, but that it is possible to manage it all within one. You just want to be clear on what is the advantages. What are you trying to achieve by doing that? Um, because actually, you could people would still sort of have access to the dashboard even if they hadn't.
Yeah. Okay. So I now
Yeah.
now I'm thinking too, because also I can have this masterclass dashboard or webinar dashboard or whatever we want to call it. That could just
Mhm.
be year round, like we're using this.
Exactly. Yeah. Can be
Okay.
just ongoing. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Uh, and was there another? Oh, logo
Oh, just
size.
yeah, just
Yep.
the size. Like I was thinking it was square and then I made a square one and it didn't fit. So I didn't know if
Yeah.
you had a recommended size.
So what generally happens with the graphics is that they can it's more about uh the the ratio size. It's more about the shape than often how the dimensions of it.
Okay.
Because on each dashboard, generally what happens is you're able to put in a background and then you can put in a logo and you can resize that logo um, however you want it to be. What we generally find is that, well, no, it's not generally. I was going to say squares often do work, but um, it depends on your logo as to
Okay.
how that fits well. Um, and so there's a crop tool when you upload, and so you
I
can
saw.
you can crop that, and then there's some manipulation that you can do with the size of the logo in general, the way that it's showing,
Okay.
um, and how you're doing your background. So we try to encourage people to think of doing things in layers like that actually works really well. So sometimes people have a logo with a bit of a background in it, and if we can separate that out, then the reason it works really well is that the background can not necessarily be seen. That can just grow with the size, whether it's on a mobile device or a desktop or whatever window shape it is. But the logo will always be seen. The whole logo will always be seen, whereas the background might get cropped off or whatever, right? And so now you can see that you start thinking of it in layers because um, the size of that header can dramatically change. And so
Okay.
if you've got a section of it that you just want to be able to see all the time, that's where that's the recommendation to play around with is
Perfect.
see how that works. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you so
I didn't
much.
I didn't answer that very succinctly, sorry, but
That's
that's
okay. I've
got
been
there in
playing
the
around
end.
in there, so I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean. Thank you.
Yeah. No worries. All the best with it though.
Thanks.
All right.
Um,
Next question.
Kevin wants to know how he can turn on an event and allow his phone to watch as a guest so that he can check out the sound and video.
Yeah. So you can join, as in you can log into Obvio on the back end, and join as a host. In the same way that you've done on the computer. You could do that same thing, or you could do it as an attendee. And so set up another attendee and have it join, as an attendee. So there's no real advantages either way. If you do it as a co-host, like sort of as a team member, you'll come in as a co-host on the phone, which means now you've got some extra controls. You could, mute people. You could get in before the event starts, for example, to be testing some things. Um, yeah, does that
I think
answer?
the question, well, I guess let me ask it this way.
Yep.
Um, I have my personal email address set up for me, and I would go into Avio and I would activate that, but do I need to use a specific attendee email that I've put in order to access to get into Avio to watch? Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
explaining that right.
No, yeah, you're
Okay.
okay. The thing with getting an attendee in is using the magic link, right? So or
Mm.
the login
Oh,
URL,
that's right. Yeah.
right?
Oh, you're right.
And so and just show you there quickly if
So as long as my phone could access
yeah,
my attendees, so-called attendees, Magic Link, I could act as them to enter in, or do I just grant
exactly.
myself some kind of a staff permission?
Yeah,
No.
I don't think there's a big advantage on your phone if you're really just wanting to be in Zoom and just test a couple of things, and
Hmm.
you don't really need it to be a co-host or anything. Then this is the easiest way of doing it. You create a new attendee, then you just copy
Right.
this login link, and I mean, have you got is it an iPhone and are you on a
No, it's an
no,
Android.
okay? Well, I'm sorry.
Now I'm sorry for you for using Apple because you guys are stuck with them.
Yeah. Um, so uh you can whatever way you want to be able to
Yeah.
get
That's fine.
that link onto your
Okay.
phone
That's
and
easy.
then follow that through. That
Okay.
now you're testing the dashboard as well, right? You're able to see
Right.
what the dashboard looks like, and then you're clicking to join the event, and now you're in. So it's only really if you wanted to do that before you've opened
Yep.
the area to allow people in. Um, if you wanted to do that, then you'd log into Obvio
Mhm.
app.ovv.io
Mhm.
and now log in as the owner or as a team member
Mhm.
and follow through, go to the Zoom areas, launch it, and now you've launched it on the phone. So you can totally do all of that on the phone too.
Just to make sure, I'm going to use my phone as a backup system in my office in case because my neighborhood is known for power surges. And so if I go down in my studio,
Yeah,
I need to be able to have my phone still available for somebody to use it will
great.
make the phone host so that we can
Hmm.
get back into the feed
Hmm. Yeah.
quickly, I
So
guess.
okay, so then you would want to make sure that it is a co-host,
Okay,
right? So that it
co-host.
will, yeah. So so again, you're either doing that by logging in as a team
Mhm.
member, and you'll automatically be a co-host,
Okay, so I need to make
or
myself a team member, probably.
or or you're logging in as an attendee, and then and then you make it a co-host in Zoom. So either way, you'll
Okay.
end up with your phone connected and it be a co-host, so that if the host drops out, then you've now got the phone as the host.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
That help?
Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate it.
Great. No worries. Okay, next question.
Amy wants to know how Marketplace is coming along.
Very close.
It's Wednesday, Grant, remember?
I know it's Wednesday. That's what Blue said to someone. It was like, it should be available on Wednesday. And then I clarified and said a Wednesday. a a Wednesday is when it will be available. Blue Blue's running late. He was going to be joining us. So he is joining us. Did he just come on right at that? This is like I just summoned him. I said the word. I, I literally had just said your name and you just came on. You'll be so excited you came because we were just talking about Marketplace.
Oh, great. Good. That's fantastic.
I said that it would be available on a Wednesday. So it's very close. But have you got anything other than it's very close to say?
Yeah, so I think we're at a position where we're open to opening Marketplace up to people who
Guinea
have
pigs.
specific events. Yeah, people who have events that are coming up in the next couple of months, and who also recognize the fact that there is the potential for some odd behavior. I think we're very much in a position where it's working well. Paid tickets are working, free tickets are working. There's a thank you page functionality that is already in place. The thank you page functionality needs a little bit of work. And by needs a little bit of work, it just simply means that we need to disable a couple of functions on the thank you page right now, because right now on the thank you page, you can still add a purchase form. It's a little thing, but that's going to be removed. And on the thank you page, there's also, we haven't built out the template selector for it yet. So you have to build thank you pages from scratch. Here's the good news. You don't need to use the thank you page at all. If you just don't touch the thank you page, when somebody purchases, they will be automatically forwarded to the dashboard and using their login URL. So you could bypass the thank you page initially, which, unless you need one, is probably the direction I would go, and give us another week or so before we have the actual templates built out, or a couple templates built out for the thank you page, unless you feel comfortable building. So I think I'm curious as to who on this call really wants access to it. And I guess Kevin, Robin, Miriam, if you'd put in the chat when your event is, and how many people you're expecting, and if it's a free or a paid event. If you could put those things in the chat, that would be awesome.
And then Blue, with that, if people are wanting to take part in that, would they just email us if it's outside of this call and they're watching a live stream?
Yep.
Okay. And then I know previously, a couple of weeks ago, you did a little video on how to actually use the new functionality of it. Will that still apply for Marketplace?
Yeah, it's very much the same. So what the functionality isn't changing significantly from the last time that we demoed it. What we have been working on are just ironing out bugs and kinks. Okay, so Robin, I'm going to say for now, I don't want to give you something that is for an event on Friday. So that would just be my suggestion for you would be to continue to use the sign up page as it stands right now. Kevin, August 8th through the 10th. You know, I feel comfortable with that one. Amy, same thing, July 24th to 26th. Miriam, last week of August, first week of September. Again, I feel good about that one. Jeff, free event, mid-August, feel good about that one. And Amy, yeah, I'm good with all of those guys. I want to give you the caveat that this is a beta. And there are going to be things that don't work exactly as expected. So yeah. Well, Jeff, why are you saying, you know, you want to use it if you
Yeah.
don't want to actually pivot?
It's like, I want to have access to it.
I want to
don't
have
want to
access to it, but I don't want to use it. Okay.
That's for the event in 3 weeks. I don't want to pivot everything for the event in 3 weeks. The event in
Nor
6
would I.
weeks sounds more reasonable.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're talking about the event in August 8th through the 10th. Yeah. I will say this as well. We are not using the marketplace page for TVE 8. Now, the only reason we're not, because I've actually built the sales page for TVE 8 inside of Marketplace, inside of a Marketplace event. The only reason we're not using it is because the system doesn't currently have the upsell capability that we want for our event. Now, that's coming. I don't know exactly when. Right now, we are focused on making sure the marketplace, the purchase page, and the thank you page are functioning as expected. And then the upsell page will be coming next. David, let's keep political talk to a minimum, if that's okay with you. Although that comment does make me chuckle. All right, so yeah, I think it's yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm excited for you guys to start playing with it. To be fair, Grant and I have been using it for the last couple months or so. It is for those of you who used Marketplace previously, it's a massive departure from that. You know, other than being called the same thing, it doesn't look or behave in any way the same way. It's a very, very, very powerful, I think it's a very powerful page builder. It's not as powerful as some of the other page builders out there, but it really gives you a lot of functionality to make your page look and feel the way you likely want it to feel. As you're using it, if you come across something that you want it to do that it can't, we definitely want to want to hear from you guys, for those of you who are using it, what that looks like. I'll also give you a heads up that the templates are pretty limited right now, because we haven't fully built out all of the templates inside that we have, that we want to have there. So right now, I believe we have 3 templates designed, but they haven't actually been implemented or put into Marketplace just yet. But that should be coming within the next, couple of weeks or so. So you'll see Marketplace start to change pretty significantly in terms of how usable it is for you the moment you start to see templates. Because right now, my biggest concern for those of you who use it is you don't like the template that is there, and you click blank, and now you're starting with a blank canvas. And starting from a blank canvas is a difficult place to start with, right? We can build dashboards inside of Obvio super, super fast. Like I can build a dashboard in, a half an hour easily and have it be fully customized to a client. But if I had to do it from scratch, it would take me a lot longer. So the reason we can build dashboards really quickly is because we have the confines of the template. Well, the page builder, the marketplace page builder, doesn't have those confines. It's a lot more flexible. The downside to that is it's a lot more flexible. So I'm excited with. I think it's probably clear. I'm cautiously optimistic about the functionality of it for you guys. So it'll be fun to see how things play out. A couple of little quirks that you're going to need to be aware of. For those of you who are doing a free event, you still need to connect Stripe to the marketplace system in order for it to appear for you. Even once it's enabled, you still have to connect Stripe. Now, if you're doing a free event, nothing is going to matter about your Stripe connection. However, if you don't currently have a Stripe connection, or Stripe account, you are still going to need to go through the process of creating that Stripe account. So something just to be aware of. We are aware of it, and we're thinking through how to change it because Marketplace was originally designed and built for paid events. But of course, we also know that it works really, really, really well for free events. So there you go.
Yeah,
Robin, maybe. Most likely. But you'll be able to use the same login that you created last year for the same Stripe login.
It's really exciting to be able to get it into your hands and to start using it. And it really is the next big step is having, a half a dozen people using it. And then we'll be able to see some of the things that we might not have thought of. And that's the big advantage of having other people using it. It's like, oh, this isn't quite working because it wasn't as intuitive to you or something. And so they're the things that we'll be really interested in the feedback. And so don't be shy about sharing that about, I couldn't make this work or this didn't make sense to me or whatever it was. That feedback's really important. That'll be really helpful. But it's super powerful. And I think it really is one of the key last steps really of our functionality of Obvio is to be able to sell tickets, to be able to run the whole event in Obvio, particularly for smaller events. Where you just want to be able to do it all in Obvio, then you will be able to do that. So that's what's exciting about it.
Yeah, and let me kind of give you a few. Let me run through a couple of just quick high-level details for you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So first off, in order to connect Stripe, you're going to want to click on the organization menu, top right-hand area, and click on events. Or actually, sorry, click on settings. And you'll see in my case, it says that I'm already connected. Because I'm already connected because it says disconnect Stripe. For most of you, you'll see a blue connect button there. That'll forward you to the Stripe connect process. And then once it's connected, when you go into your events, you'll see a new menu item called Marketplace. And inside the Marketplace menu, there are 3 submenus: tickets, purchase page, and thank you page. And you're going to want to start by creating at least one ticket type. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete these ticket types for now, so you get a sense of what it's going to look like. So it'll look something like this. You essentially click new ticket here or new ticket here, and give your ticket a name. So general admission, you can call it whatever you want, of course. The ticket slug, this is going to give you a default and it's probably fine. But if you want to, you can change this. What this is each ticket has a direct URL that you can send people to. We'll explain what that is at some point in the future. Give it a little description. That description can be visible, doesn't have to be, but can be visible on the marketplace page. So this is a general admission ticket to my awesome event. You have the ability to have available from and available to dates. These are optional. Think of these as if the use case for available from and available to is different ticket prices. So if you were going to do a general admission early bird ticket that was, let's say, available from today through July 15th, then you would come in here and you would say, okay, this is going to be available till July 15th at midnight. And we would call it like early bird special or something along those lines. And then we would come down here. You can apply tags or groups. So if you wanted to apply a tag, like let's say I wanted to apply the tag GA, I would type in GA and press enter. So it shows up as a little pill up here. And then if I wanted to apply a group, I could say like ticket type as an example, and we could call this one GA early bird if I wanted to do that. And then if I wanted to have an early bird ticket price of $47, I could do that. Next up, we have some data collection information. So for this ticket, do you need attendee addresses? Yes or no? If you do you need a billing address? Is it required? Do you need a shipping address? Again, is it required? So that's something that you need to decide at the ticket level, and different ticket prices can have different rules for whether or not you're going to collect the attendee address. So as an example, if you have a ticket price where you're not going to be sending out a swag box and you want to keep the friction to purchase the ticket really, really low, you may want to not include the attendee address. Or for a free ticket, as an example, you may want to not include the attendee address. But for paid, you may want to include billing and shipping and make both required. Then same thing for phone number. Do you want to include or do you want to collect the attendee's phone number? Yes or no? And is it required? And then finally, we have hidden and we have active. Generally speaking, you're probably always going to have tickets be active. Hidden has a very specific functionality, and it ties back to the attendee URL or slug up at the top. And let me give you a use case for hidden tickets. Let's say your event is $97, but for a select few, like Leap members, as an example, we may want to give a $47 ticket price. So what you would do is you would create a Leap ticket type and you would make it hidden. And then you would give Leap members, so that when it's hidden, what that means is it's not visible on the main purchase page, but it still is visible on its own URL. So you can give people the direct URL to that particular ticket type, allowing them to register. So that gives you the ability to have tickets that are for specific people. There isn't a functionality currently in the system for promotional codes, like discount coupon codes. This is the solve for that. Different ticket types give you essentially the same functionality. Okay, so once you have your ticket, I'm going to leave this visible, so not hidden and active. You click Create Ticket, and that gives you your early bird special. Now, again, remember, if I wanted to have then a $97 ticket, let's say, I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate this ticket and go in and change this to regular general admission and have this be available from July 15th at midnight. And then I'm going to have this available too. Let's say my event was August 15th. So I don't want to sell tickets to this event after August 15th at 11 a.m. So now this ticket, this general admission ticket, will be available from midnight on July 15th through to 11 a.m. On August 15th. And then I'm going to change my ticket type from early bird to just regular GA, change my ticket price to $97, and go ahead and save that. So now I have two different tickets, one that's early bird and one that is my just general admission ticket, two different ticket prices. And I have this one is available up until midnight on July 15th, and then this one is available at midnight on July 15th. Okay, so once I've got my tickets, and you can build out as complicated a ticket structure as you want, or as simple as a ticket structure you want. Now I'm going to go to my purchase page, and I'm actually going to start by just deleting what I have here. Just give me a second. So when you first log in, you're going to have the ability to select the blank template or the narrow sales page dark template. That's probably going to get renamed. But just for ease, I'm going to go ahead and select the narrow sales page that's dark. And that gives you a starting point. So, this is just a baseline or an entry point to what an event ticket page could look like, not necessarily what it needs to look like. Let's get rid of that. And if I wanted to see what this actually looks like, there's a preview button all the way up at the top that I can click. That opens up the page and shows it to me as it's intended on desktop. Again, this is intended for you to be able to go in and just make a whole bunch of changes, right? We would expect you to change the background, the logo, all of those things. Similar to how the dashboards work, if you just hover over and click the gear, you're going to get some styling capabilities. So I'd probably start by removing the logo and adding my event logo in there, and go from there. There's a few different things. If something is not centered, there's a little center icon here, which will work most of the time. There are times when it won't work, and it won't work by design. So if you have two items that are on the same plane, left to right, then the center option won't work because, of course, there's something else that's blocking it on that row from being centered. Now, the moment I remove it, I can now center that item. The other thing that's important to note is if my item or if my my item is slightly larger than is centerable, when I click center, you're going to get a quick notice because these Obvio pages have a certain number of columns and rows that you can move items around within. And of course, I believe the columns that we have default to 24 columns wide. So if you have an item that is not equally divisible by 24 or into 24, like let's say you have something that's, I guess it's an odd number of columns wide, then the center function won't work perfectly. The other thing to note is that these pages are separated by sections, and each section is denoted by this little white area with the crosshatch, the blue crosshatch, and you'll see it here as well. So this is the bottom of a section, and then this is the beginning of a new section. And each section within it can have different block types. Now, blocks are content, right? So different types of content can be inserted into your section. So when you click on Add Block, You can add titles, you can add text blocks, images, videos, buttons, something called a ticket selector, a purchase form. You can add bulleted lists, countdown timers, numbered lists, FAQ lists, icons, separators, which are essentially horizontal lines, spacers, which is a blank piece of content, but that will allow you to space something. And I'll show you in a moment what that means. And then grids. And grids are probably the most complicated type of block, but essentially what a grid is it allows you to have blocks within a block. So if I were to scroll down and take a look at the who's speaking, this is an example of blocks within a block. So the outer little edge of dotted line, where if I scroll this down, you'll see it says add content block. That outer little area is a container, and within that container, you can add blocks to it. Now, you'll notice not all of the blocks are available within these little containers, but many of them are. And the purpose behind it is, I use them most often for speakers, like blocks like this, because I want all of these things. I want the image, the title, and this little text block to move in concert, right? So if I wanted to move Barry to the middle, I would just move her over here and then take Grant and move him over there. And I don't have to move all three of those content blocks. I'm just moving the one larger form block. It's a little bit complicated to work with, but it works really nicely, especially when you go into the mobile editor. So how you do that, up at the top, there's a toggle to go into mobile. And one of the things that's really nice about the mobile editor and having blocks is while everything else resizes and even kind of sometimes changes order based on blocks, these individual grid blocks all stay together. So all of Grant's content or information stays with Grant. So the image, the title, and the description all stay together. And again, if I wanted to move Barry above Grant, I just take the entire block and everything moves with it. So that's how we see those grid blocks being used most commonly, or most often is what I mean. And there you have it. So back to mobile, you can drag and drop blocks around using this little handle, this 2-line block or 2-line square right here. Something to be aware of is that blocks always will float to the top, right? So if I were to move this over to the right and move this over to the left, you'll notice that it floats up, right? So, and if I move this over to the right, it will float up. So if I wanted to have live virtual be more like here, I can't do that exactly without having what we call a spacer block. So I told you I'd tell you what spacer blocks are for. This is a good example of that. So I'm going to click add a spacer block. And I'm going to take that block and put it right where I want it so that I can have live virtual be at the bottom. Now, again, I probably wouldn't do this. I'm showing you this as an example, but that's what these spacer blocks are for, especially on desktop, to allow you the ability to put things a little bit more specifically where you want. Now, there is another way to do what I just did. If I wanted live virtual to be at the bottom here, I could expand this title block, go into the gear, go into styling, and down near the bottom, there's an alignment area, and I can change my vertical alignment to bottom. So now I have something very similar, right? My text is at the bottom of the block. If I go further down on the styling area, there's also some padding, right? So if I really wanted to bring it down to the bottom, bring that down to 0, and it gets much closer. There's always a tiny little bit of spacing in some of these, especially text blocks, because of how fonts work. But essentially, that is how I would do it without adding another block. And then, you could, of course, play around with things from there. So from there, sections can be moved up or down. So if I wanted this video section to be above this section here, I would just go to the section gear area, click the up arrow, and now that header block is down 1, and I have this entire block of content that's moved up. Of course, that probably doesn't make sense for this particular design because of the background image, but there you go. That gives you an idea of how it works. Sections themselves can have a whole bunch of things around them, right? So they can have background colors, they can have background images, they can have specific spacing inside of full sections. So if you wanted a part of your website that was a black background with white text, and another part of your website that was white background with black text, you would do that by having multiple sections. Sections can be added at the bottom of the page with a little button that says Add Section. And now I've got a new section here. So to use my example that I just gave you, if I wanted a title block that was on white text, or white text on black background, I would click here on the section gear, go to styling, and change my background color to be black, and then modify the actual opacity to be 100%. Now, that was hard to see, so I'm actually going to do the reverse and make this white background with black text. So now I'm going to click Save and go into my title block, go to Styling, change my font to be black. And a lot of these things, a lot of the styling options that you have, including the ability to select different text, is going to be very familiar to you because it's similar to what we use in the main dashboard editor. There's, of course, some differences because you have a little bit more flexibility with how things look and feel, but that gives you a quick sense. This block right here is a numbered list. So you can see that in this particular numbered list, we have the list counter, which is numeric. It can also be alphabetical or Roman numerals. And then the outline for the counter is a circle. You can have it be a square as well if you prefer, or you can have it be no outline. Of course, if you have no outline and your text is this, or your font color is the same as your background color, it's going to disappear. But if I were to click none and go to styling, and then I go to counter style and I change my font color to be black, now all of a sudden my counters reappear. And then if I wanted to, I could go back and bring my circles back to see how I like that, see if black text works better for me. Again, for us, I preferred the white in this particular case. But also, if I can continue to scroll down, you'll notice that this has a border option on it, and that's how we're creating that rounded rectangle. And it has a background option on it. So blocks, individual blocks, especially with their text, you have quite a bit of formatting options. So if I wanted to make that red background, which I probably wouldn't because that hurts my eyes, but you see where we're headed with this, hopefully. So lots of flexibility inside of this page builder to give you a lot of, hopefully, the things that you're going to be looking for. And it works very well. I say that there are a few things that I tried on that particular demo that I haven't actually looked at in a while, which made me think, I wonder if I'm going to look at something that we've somehow broken along the way. But I'm sure you guys will find little bugs, and we definitely want to hear about them, right? Because there's, Grant and I can test these things day and night for months at a time. And then the moment we hand it to 40 people, all doing slightly different things than we were probably anticipating you doing with it, all of a sudden we'll probably find some things that need a little bit of work. So dev team is on standby. Actually, they're not on standby. They're continuing to work on things that we're aware of, but are also going to be there to work out kinks that you guys find as well.
That's great. Very exciting.
Yeah.
All right. We've got some questions there, Heather. Back to
Yeah.
those.
So Kevin has a masterclass hosted once daily for 2 days, and he wants to know how he can set up tagging for this so registrants can select either or both days, thus having 2 different ones.
So that would just be, if that were the case, you would create different ticket types for each date and time, right? And rather than calling them general admission, the ticket, what you would do, again, if this were a free event, you'd come into tickets and you would call this one, July 4th at 4 p.m. Okay, that's first. And then the next thing that I would do is I would probably put like, what's July? 07, 07, 04, 24 as the tag. Okay. And then I'd probably just not have a group. And obviously this is going to be a free ticket. And then I'd click save. And then if I was going to have another one at another time, you would duplicate that, or I would duplicate it anyway, call it July 5th at 11 a.m. Okay. And now you would come in here and go 07, 05, 24. And I'm using the date as the tag. The tags are dynamic. Not dynamic, but custom. You can do whatever you want. But if you were doing a webinar once daily or a masterclass once daily, now you have 2 options. Now on the purchase page, where the ticket selector is, which doesn't exist here, what you actually have to do is you have to add a ticket selector, which is right here. And on the ticket selector, the user has the ability, and obviously we probably wouldn't, in this particular case, you probably wouldn't have descriptions. So I'm going to just delete these descriptions to make the text a little bit better. Go back to purchase page and then scroll down to the item that I just added. Make some changes here. I'm going to remove title because, well, maybe you would say select a date and time that works for you. Okay. And then I would probably make some changes to, I would make some changes to the styling.
Yes.
But for now, that's your starting point. As you know, so you'd have the user would be able to select the date or time that works for them. And then you would add a purchase form. And I know it's a free ticket, but that's what's required. And, in this case, it's first name, last name, and email address. You can, again, tweak the styling for that. But first thing the user would do is select the date and time. Then they would type in their first name, their last name, their email address. And you probably don't want it to say confirm $0 purchase.
Sure.
So you would go in and you would say like register. Oh, well, that's fun. Here's a bug. All right. Anyway,
It's
good,
designed
sure.
that way. It's just you just got to put each letter in one.
Yeah,
one at a
exactly.
time.
We'll
I'm gonna
get
get
there.
my money out of it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. Righto. Anyway, so you
Cool,
get
I
the
know.
point. let's
Yeah.
assume that's working as it was intended. And, you know, of course, you can make little tweaks to placeholder text, you know, all over the place. Same
Perfect.
with first name, last name, email address, phone, all of these things you can make tweaks to the name. And then also some error handling questions. But in your case, you know, they're just going to click
Nice.
confirm $0 purchase for now until
That
we get
helps.
that button.
That's great. Okay, thank you.
Yep, you got it.
All right. The next one is from Miriam. She said that she's using Lead Machine, which is like Go High Level. How can I integrate it with Obvio?
So integrations and marketplace are not compatible. You use one or the other. So you either use Go High Level to make your sales page and communicate with your attendees, and use the high level integration
This is
to connect.
lead machine as opposed to high level.
Yeah, but
It's a different
is
service.
Lead Machine a reseller for high level? It sounds like it. The way the question was asked, it sounds like it's a reseller for high level. Yeah. So you
Okay, so
use the
that
high
works.
level integration for it. Because even though they're a reseller and they're rebranded, all reseller accounts function with the primary high level integration. So you would then use the high level integration to import your attendees from lead machines into Obvio. So that's one way you would go. The other way you could go is the opposite way, which is don't use lead machines to sell your tickets. Just use lead machines to communicate with your list and send them to the Obvio purchase page and have them register on the Obvio purchase page, and then do your communication and follow up with them for the event through Obvio. At some point, you probably would then want to export that list of attendees from Obvio back into Lead Machine so you know who worked. If it were me, I would be tempted. I don't know how good the page builders are with high level, or I really have not played with high level outside of making sure that our integration works. I've not dug deep into how building sales pages with high level functions. I'm sure it's good. So, you know, if I was using high level, I would or any one of the systems that we have native integration with that have sales page builders, I would be tempted to keep the information there. We built the marketplace feature for folks who didn't want to try and figure out the data back and forth and just wanted a simple way to create a landing page and be able to communicate with their attendees directly inside of Obvio.
Okay, so just from my thinking, Obvio is very easy to use, even though I haven't myself gotten in there deeply, right? It's pretty straightforward if you know a little bit about how to build a website and, you know, lay things out. And with the marketplace, I sort of am looking at it the same. If I use just that, then I won't have to deal with the lead machine or anything else. And at the end, like you said, I just export out who all those names, and then I throw them into my, you know, quote, Go High Level, and I'm done and everything's good. Because I have to pull everything out of Obvio after each event anyway. I have to download the videos and export and everything like that. So everything's going to be right there for me. So am I correct in that?
You're not wrong. The thing that I would say to be aware of is you're going to be sending out marketing emails through high level. You're going to send people who register for you're going to send people emails to come register for the event. Once somebody registers for the event and you're using a marketplace page, like an Obvio marketplace page, there isn't an easy mechanism. There is one. You can use Zapier and you can figure it out. But there isn't a mechanism to say to high level, hey, Grant just registered for my event. So now if you have that, now the next time you send an email, you exclude people who have registered from your event, right? Because I think one of the things that I find personally exceptionally annoying is when I register for an event and then that person continues to say, hey, register for my event. Hey, register for my event. Hey, register for my event. And I'm like, but I registered for your event. How do you not know this? Okay, so that's something that I just want you to be aware of. You're not wrong. You can do exactly what you said. But if you don't have a mechanism to, on the regular, say to lead machines or high level, hey, these people are registered for my event. So next time we send out a marketing email, don't include me. Okay. Jeff, that's just because you have multiple email addresses. Don't start with me.
Yeah, because that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I that really bothers me a lot, like you. So the way how do I get around that? By actually linking Lead Machine to with Zapier
so
to that?
So inside of our Zapier integration, there is a trigger that you can use that is called attendee created. And when an attendee is created from the marketplace purchase, it will trigger the Zap to then do whatever you want. So what I would do if I was gonna do it this way, I would create a Zap that is where the trigger of the Zap is Obvio event user or attendee created. And then the action within that Zap would be to tag or whatever I need to do inside of high level that contact to identify them as a buyer. Tag is probably the thing to do, but again, I don't know high level inside and out, and I'm not 100% familiar with how their functionality works. But I assume if you were to tag those attendees, then in the future, what you could do is when you once those attendees are tagged, when you send out future emails to your full list, you can exclude those attendees who are tagged as already purchased. So
well, that makes sense to me, because I just had like 3 hours of going over tags in the last 2 days. So this actually is clear. And I'll use Zapier to, okay, I think I have it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And this is where, I don't know if it would be easier to just build the page in high level. Like I'm legit, I'm not 100% certain, because one way or the other, you have to do something to communicate, right? You have to say, hey, these people are registered. So
it's either one or the other. If I do it through like let's just say call it Go High Level. If I do it through Go High Level, I have to get it to communicate to Obvio. If I do it through Obvio, I have to get it to communicate through Go High Level. So either way, there's something to do. It's just that with working with you in what you've just shown, it looks easier to create that. So thank you. And I'll let you know, because I'll let you know, because I'm going to go through both of them and see what it is that I think. So there's going to be some decision making, and I'll give you some feedback. Thank you.
Thanks. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think in our case, what you'll find once we get the additional templates, the user selectable templates into the platform, it'll become infinitely more user friendly, because now you'll have different options to that'll be good starting points. You'll, much like existing templates, you'll be able to, unlike existing templates, you'll be able to completely customize them, right? So your final version of a template that you start with, kind of like when you start with a template inside of ClickFunnels, can look wildly different than what you started from. But I also do think that starting from something is always a better or an easier way to start than starting from scratch.
Can I just add that something, because for me, coming into the program of Leap with all of you, and then having Obvio, the best part about it is that you're thinking about new users and people to make things so that they're really functional and easy to use. And you've already done that with what you're saying. So it makes it so that it's actually better, because for a beginner, You make it easy. So thank you. All right, I'm out of here. I gotta run.
You're welcome. Jeff, just to answer your question really quickly, he asked, will global styles be brought into Marketplace? And for now, the answer is no, but there is a page settings feature that allow you to set some default typography options, as well as the default backgrounds and some spacing things for the pages, as well as a title and a description and a fav icon, as well as some header and footer HTML, which is specifically generally for tracking pixels or third-party services that you may want to install onto your page. I would say use this header and footer HTML with a large degree of caution.
Yeah, what we're just been talking about is touching back again. Robin, we were talking about this before about where Obvio sits, in your toolkit, and so and the tricky thing is that we're overlapping in a couple of areas, and so we can send emails directly from Obvio, for example, but so can the CRM. And now we can sell tickets, but so can a CRM. But it really is targeting that entry level. You just want to be able to sell tickets really easily. If you've got a bigger list and there's more going on and you already have a CRM, the flow of how you do that might just make more sense for you to be selling your tickets through your CRM and having that all flow through so that you're maintaining that history.
Yeah,
At
it's
least at
no
this
accident
stage.
that it's no accident that we're almost like November of this year will be, I think, starting our 5th year of development on Obvio, and
Yeah.
it's no mistake that it's no mistake that we are almost this far in and we're just now introducing Marketplace, right? Because
Yeah.
we really built initially, Obvio was built for Sage clients, right? It was built for us, and all of our clients have an e-commerce system already built. So for the first 3 years or so, we focused largely on third-party service integrations so that you could continue to use the system you're already using. Now that we've gotten to the point where we feel as though the majority, not all of them, but the majority of like most of our users who have a third-party CRM are using one of the 7 services that we are using or that we already have native integration with. That's not to say all of them. I know there are a few outliers out there, but the outliers are covered by our Zapier integration. So we really have native integration with, on some level, 1,700 different services, which I know is marketing speak for please go get a Zapier account. But beyond that, now that we have some people inside of Leap, we definitely have some Obvio users who would like to just have an all-in-one system that they don't have to think too much about. This becomes an all-in-one solution. Like if you don't have a CRM, but you have a social media following, and or you're going to run some paid ads, you really could, without having a CRM, start, build a marketplace page, build a thank you page, have a Facebook group for your attendees, and post about your event on your various social platforms, drive traffic to your marketplace to get people to sign up for your event, and then email and text message those attendees through Obvio, without ever having to touch another platform, and then execute on the event using the Zoom account or accounts that you have access to within Obvio, having a custom dashboard for all of your attendees, and really having that full experience start to finish. And that was the intention behind Marketplace, to kind of have the platform be all encompassing. That is not to say that I don't recommend. In fact, we highly recommend that if you are running your business online, you should have a way to communicate with your clients. That's generally a CRM. You should absolutely have that. Obvio is not that. But it does allow you quite a bit of functionality now that this is there. All right, I'll stop talking, Heather.
Oh,
Okay.
it is key though. I won't keep going on about it, but it is key because it's how Obvio is positioned, understanding it as an event platform, that it's it is like a hammer in your toolkit, and there's a wrench, and a wrench could also be used as a hammer, but it's not the perfect tool for for nailing using a wrench, but it is possible. And that's where we get to, because it's like, oh, we could use Obvio to do this. So,
And that's why I have 9 fingers.
nice. All right, Heather, get us back on track.
All right. Kevin wants to know why his event shows that it's live when it's turned off.
Yeah, this is just that it sits within the window of time that you've got as your event time. And so
Okay.
it doesn't mean that your Zoom is on or anything. It just means that you're in the time that you said that the event is happening.
Oh, okay. That makes total sense then. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right. The
Question?
next question is also from Kevin. He wants to know if you can explain the image waterfall, why it's used. He can only seem to upload one or and no more photos. Is there a trick to doing that?
Yeah, so it's just understanding the tool of the image waterfall. And what it is for
Mhm.
having attendees upload images, and there's an approval process, a moderation process,
Okay.
and then it's user generated. Then you're seeing a waterfall page that's showing all those images that have been approved. So
Cool.
it's not for you to upload a bunch of images and show them. You could use another system for that. It's to have an uploader for your attendees on the dashboard. They can go click and upload an image, and then you have that as an output on a screen. And that might be that you just have a TV in your set, and you're able to show that behind you, or you're able to cut to it, using your a production setup, and have a full screen of those images, and you could cut to it and say, let's have a look at those images. So that's what the function is of that.
Oh, perfect.
Yep. Yeah, and you can make a little link on the dashboard. One of the link options is image uploader, and that's where
Cool.
that
Thank
works.
you.
Yep. Cool. Next question.
So Irina wants to know if you can explain the page that has tags and how they fill out each line. This is under the services, CRM, integration with URL, and key. The page that follows the integration page.
For which service?
Irina, do you know?
Irina here. Yep.
Yes, she is.
Active campaign.
Okay. So active campaign, do you have that page up? Can you share your screen? It'll be
no, but I can open it. I
okay,
think
yeah,
it's-
if you could do that, and
Oh
then
yeah, I have it. Yeah.
and then just share your screen on that window. I'll tell you what each of them mean.
I have so many open. Which one? How do I share on this screen?
Start with share, and then if
No,
you
I
have
know
more
I
than
can find share on because it's
click on the
it's
more
another.
icon inside of Zoom. If you don't see the share icon, click on the more icon, and you'll see share there.
No. I just don't have that page open. Just a second, then. You can ask the question. Let me figure out.
Okay.
Jeff wants to know, can you briefly share how to add downstream key for form lower thirds on my ATEM?
Yeah. So,
You know this stuff, Jeff. What is it about it?
yeah.
Yeah, I just switched to an extreme and my head is not on straight. I tried to do it today and I like somehow did it backwards. So I was like, well, if we have time for a random production question, I'll ask on the call.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember which of these percentages is which, but first off, you want to make sure that you're using the Luma key option. Is that actually, I'm not thinking of downstream key. Is that,
Does it help if I screen share it? I've got ATEM open.
yeah, I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Okay.
Grant probably could. Okay, so uncheck pre-multiplied clip, and you make the fill
Okay.
and the key the source that is your full screen that has the lower third on it.
Got it.
And then hey Grant, is clip the higher one or is
Oh, the gain.
or
It
the
should be
gain?
clip. It should be clip that's the higher one.
So
Let's
make
see.
clip about 73 or so, and make gain
Okay.
about 7, and that'll come really close just as a starting point.
Gotcha. Tweak it from there.
And then yeah, and then it's just about, you know, increasing or decreasing the gain slightly, or increasing or decreasing the clip slightly, and the rest of that
Sure.
you should be fine with. Yeah, don't worry
Okay.
about key 2. That'll give you key 1, and that should, like, if do you have it plugged in right now?
I do. Yeah, I have an example here. Let me
So if you
pull over to it. Going behind me though.
We're gonna answer 2 questions at the same time now.
yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's putting it behind me instead of in front of me.
Yeah. Something's
That'll be an upstream key.
Yeah, do you have an upstream?
Because I'm running
do
a
it.
green screen at the same time.
Yeah.
That
So
shouldn't
you would have to do it downstream. You have to do it downstream to do it on top of an
He is
input.
doing it as a downstream. I thought. Didn't I see it as a downstream?
This is what I was getting confused with earlier.
Can you share that screen one more time?
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, can you just auto on or on air DSK1?
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
so in theory, we should see it right now, I think.
Yeah, it's coming. Let me switch back to my camera here a
top.
second. It's actually just out of frame. Let me see if I can. There we go. You can see
There we go.
it just
Yeah.
there. It's because of how
Okay,
I'm zooming
so-
my camera, but I can adjust that later.
Okay, so it's there. That actually feels like it's like that's it. It's just a function of modifying your clip and your gain slightly. Again, the numbers I gave you are approximate. I don't remember exactly where they are, but basically you're trying to get rid of the black and leave everything else in place.
Yep.
Things that that you want to just be aware of: don't use anything black anywhere. Like, don't use black text or black background on the if you're gonna use this, because the black text will also key out, not just black background.
Yeah, can I change it to green in Obvio? Like, is there a way to do that?
No, currently no. That is
Okay.
on the roadmap. It's kind of a low priority in this exact moment because nobody's using it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is similar to what we've talked about doing, similar to how the emoji page can have the background color changed, is adding that same functionality to the lower third pages.
How would I add my green screen behind this, or isn't that possible at all because of the layer separation?
It is.
It's
it
already
is
already
possible.
there, I think.
Yeah.
What's your program? What's your red line program camera input?
1, M1.
And what is 1?
1 is just my main camera. It's facing me.
I get confused with upstream keys. I haven't looked at it in a while.
I know. Yeah, I know. And I think they do it in a funny way too. Upstream and downstream is it's all
That's what I
about
was
what
getting
the
confused
layers are.
about. I've got my
I-
fill sources camera 1. Yeah.
Don't you have to make your background? Don't you have to make the program layer like? Can you make the program layer a color, like, or another camera or another source that's not either of the two, not your camera and not the lower third? If you don't have one, just make it one of the color selectors.
Hmm.
Okay.
Because we're trying to change the background, and I think there's something funky going on.
Yeah, there's some dance or something's not happening right. You know, like something's
I
reversed
feel like
somewhere.
your upstream key may have your downstream key source
Hmm.
as the fill,
That's
because
confusing.
I'm seeing the menu bar from Safari or whatever that is behind you, but
Yeah,
the
Chrome.
lower third in front of you. So I think there's a problem with your upstream key.
Okay. I'll fix that first, and then that should fix the downstream that we set up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because the downstream key looks like it's working the way it should, although you just turned it off, didn't you?
well, yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay. So but the reason, yeah, so for sure there's something going on with your upstream key settings, like something in your upstream key is referencing camera 4 or whatever the which is why we're
Yep.
seeing it behind it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Upstream is always behind your program, like your clean layer.
Yeah. The upstream is
Right?
actually down and the downstream is actually up. Makes no effing
Kind of.
sense.
It's so
Well,
confusing. Yes,
no, it does actually, it does make sense because it's
it does.
upstream is further, it's before the switching, and the downstream is after the switching, right?
It makes about as much sense as red means go and green means stop on your tally lights. Just
I've set this up for people, and every time I have to watch a YouTube tutorial or review notes,
Think
like
about
it's
it
just
again,
one of
yeah.
those things that I like. All of a sudden, I become as smart as a chimpanzee, and I'm like, okay, I've done this, and I have to read. It's one of those things you don't do it often enough that yeah, when I have to do it, I'm like, okay, here we go.
So
Start
I
a
will,
kindergarten.
I will just say that the reason green for chroma key obviously is that there's no green in our pigmentation in skin, and so that's why it is green, right? When we're doing graphics, luminance will always have a better result because of the way that luminance and chrominance works. And so there's actually more data in luminance than there is in chrominance. And so doing a luminance key on graphics is way better. And so your edges will be much sharper on a luminance. So it's a better way of doing it. And then if you want to do black, you can do like 18% black, make it 18% gray. It looks like it's black.
charcoal and it'll work great.
Yeah. It'll look like it's black, but it's slightly gray, So there's a couple
good.
of tricks there, but yeah, you're really close. It's just making sure that it's downstream key for the lower, and upstream is your green screen. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Nice.
Okay, I figured out. I just got lost in the screens and mini tabs. Is it sharing or not?
It is. Yep.
Okay. Because
Okay,
I
so
don't see it.
the attendee import or delete tag is that is the tag that will identify your attendees inside of ActiveCampaign as an attendee. Okay.
Could I ask questions immediately as you go, so I'm able to explain it too?
Sure.
So do I create it? I mean, I've done it, I know, and I asked it before, but I need to understand so I can explain it. Do we create it on the landing page somewhere else in ActiveCampaign, right? This particular tag.
You ideally create the tag inside of ActiveCampaign.
Right.
There is a function to allow you to create the tag in Obvio, and you can see that there. And that creates the tag in ActiveCampaign. However, I generally recommend that you use the CRM to create the tags.
Yeah, that's what people were asking me, and I couldn't explain which way to go first, there or here.
Yeah, I mean, both will work, so it almost doesn't matter. But ideally, you create the tag and you apply the tag to your contacts in ActiveCampaign, and then you come into Obvio and you select that tag.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Next one is the login URL field. This is the custom field in ActiveCampaign where we're going to store the login URL for each attendee from Obvio as they get created.
Right. And again, I created in ActiveCampaign and then I just selected here and it's populated. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Action tags. These things are these tags are applied in ActiveCampaign when the specific action takes place in Obvio. So attendee created. Once an attendee is created in Obvio, we apply the tag that you specify there. Where you create it, ActiveCampaign or Obvio, doesn't matter. But again, I would generally recommend you create tags in your CRM.
So even these 2 or 3, I create first an ActiveCampaign as a best practice, and then it's populated when I type it.
Exactly. And created is one, checked in is the other, and waiver signed is the other. Now, keep in mind those action tags, you don't need to apply any of them. I would recommend you do. If you have a waiver step turned on, apply the tag. If you have a, well, and then the other 2, created and checked in, you don't need to apply them, but I would. It's just good information to have.
And you had distinction about created or checked in, something like you said, keep in mind, this is what it looks like, but it's different. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, so I'm not 100% sure what you're referring to. Oh, well, actually, no, I am. I know what you're talking about. So created is simply, that tag is just created the moment the attendee is created in Obvio. Then the tag is applied in ActiveCampaign. That's it. There's no distinction there. The attendee checked in tag is applied when the attendee lands on the dashboard the first time. If you
That's
have
exactly what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have the tech check function turned off, the checked in tag still gets applied the first time they land on the dashboard, right? So the checked in tag is really just a first time they landed on the dashboard tag, regardless of what steps you have turned on in the check-in process.
So if the button is clicked, checked in, that would be check-in because after checked in, they go to, oh no.
Nope. Technically, what's happening is the checked in tag is applying when the user actually goes to the dashboard. So most users, how they behave is they get to your tech check page, they click start complete tech check or whatever your button is. They go into Zoom, it opens up a new tab, they go into Zoom and they have a conversation with your person and then your person clicks complete check-in. Now, between them clicking complete check-in and the user clicking the button to go into Zoom, if the user quits their browser, let's say they close Chrome for some reason, right? Like before your person clicks complete check-in, if their browser gets shut down, not Zoom, their browser, when you click complete check-in, they'll get checked in Obvio. Like their tech check process will be complete, but they will never have seen the dashboard because the browser was closed. So the next time the user opens up the dashboard is when they'll get checked in. Or not when they'll get checked in, when that tag will be applied. So technically, it's not exactly when you click check in. For 99% of users, or for 99% of attendees, when you click complete check-in inside of Obvio, their browser redirects to the dashboard, and now they've visited the dashboard. But there are small instances or certain instances where that may not be true, but it's true for most users. And admittedly, Irina, none of that affects your attendees in any way, shape, or form. They don't have to go through the check-in process a second time. They're still checked in from a tech check perspective, but they won't get the checked in tag until they actually load the dashboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I remembered, but I didn't remember what exactly. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
With tags, generally with tags, is there anything else to explain about tags in Obvio, except that attendee when we create tags there? What are these for when we create only for the rules, right?
Yeah,
If we go to attendee section, put in the tag, and then we can apply rules.
When you're using a third-party service like ActiveCampaign, we will import all of the tags from ActiveCampaign for your contacts into Obvio. You don't have to go into the attendees and manually apply tags. You apply those tags in ActiveCampaign, and we import all of those tags into Obvio. And now you can use those tags as part of rules for individual items on the dashboard. So whether buttons are visible, blog posts are visible, things like that.
Right.
Anywhere where there's rules associated, you can use tags. And when you're using ActiveCampaign or one of the other third-party integration services, you don't technically have to import those, or you don't have to manually apply those tags in Obvio. That happens automatically.
So the best practice is, let's say I only want it for the obvious sake. I don't need it for the ActiveCampaign. I have clients who we use it all the time on Obvio. So I still can do it manually, right? I can still do it in Obvio, input it.
I would not. If you're using ActiveCampaign, you really want to keep your tags. The master of the tags is ActiveCampaign.
Okay.
So if you go into Obvio and you make a change to a user's tags, and then you update that same user's tags in ActiveCampaign for a different purpose, right? The moment you do that, those tags will get updated inside of Obvio, and the tag that you manually applied will disappear. So if you have integrations turned on, the master of your tags is ActiveCampaign, and that's what you should use.
And it's with every CRM, right? For other people,
It's
would
true
be
of
the
all
same
CRM.
thing.
Yes, the master of the tags is the CRM.
So no even need to go into that section and type those tags.
Do it all in ActiveCampaign.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
And another question about the password. Do we even need to bother with it to even make those pages when we create new event?
Nope.
Because we use now magic link, so right, we don't even need to bother with all that.
Nope. You can.
And no
you don't
password
need to.
reset either. You would?
Well, so you can, but you don't need to. The moment you disable the password page on the check-in step, the password reset and the forgot my password functions all disappear. So you won't see that as an option.
And that's the best practice now, right? There's no need to bother with that.
I think so. I mean, I think generally we had it there initially. Some people, some clients still use it. We generally keep it turned off.
Yeah, perfect. And the last question, because I did ask it in the system, that sign up page, what are you talking about? Is it separate from marketplace? What did I miss about sign up page? Because Kevin was saying he has the page. Is it marketplace or it's something else?
Oh, it's something else.
For the
So
webinar.
Is your event free or paid?
Well, it was paid, but I
Okay.
would like,
So
I have both.
The sign up page does not apply to paid events. What the sign up page is a very, very, very simple page that takes the same styling as your login page, that has a first name, last name, and email field, and allows users to sign up for your event. It is only for free events. You should not be using it for paid events, because the moment you use it for paid events, now people technically don't have to pay in order to get into it, into your event.
Yep. But that free page, so it's still not integrated with anything. So if we use it in a sign up page in Obvio, people will sign up, but nobody's going into ActiveCampaign, right? Like you said with the marketplace.
Correct.
It's the same principle, right? So it's
Yes.
only for the Obvio. There's no way to list build, nothing. It's just Obvio thing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you can there are ways to take attendees who are created through the sign up function and through the marketplace function and get them into your CRM through Zapier or through a manual export. You can do that. But I think you may not
Right.
want to.
Yeah, because I already have everything is built in Active Campaign.
You already have everything built and it's already done, then keep it where it is.
Right. But just in case, where is it in Obvio? Why don't I see it?
It's under the design function, like under the design submenu, there's a sign up option.
Oh, I didn't know what it was. Okay, sign up. Got it. Yep.
Yeah, and it's off by default. It's disabled by default.
So this is the sign up thing. Oh, can you still see my shared screen?
No, I stopped looking at your screen, Irina.
Oh, okay. So that's just, it was always there and it says
wasn't
sign
always
up.
it wasn't always there. It is a
I
newer
mean,
function.
But
It's been there. It's been there for a while, but it hasn't always been there.
Just woke up. I didn't know about it. I looked through it. It's already with my new logo in the background, but I had no clue what the heck it was.
So it's like that because it takes the same style as your login. So if you style your login page, the sign up page is automatically styled.
Oh, okay. Got it. And they just go into the attendee page, right? Attendee section. Whoever signs up, they show up in the attendee section.
Yes.
The page.
Yes. Yes.
Got it. And no tag applied because you can't apply any tag here.
Okay. Wow, you're going deep, Irina. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so yes, if you go into the sign up page and you enable it, you're going to see that there is a page settings option. And under rules, you can apply a tag or a group. Now, what this does is, unlike, this isn't visibility rules. This is rules. These are tags applied. This is probably a little unclear, but this is how it works. So if I wanted to apply the tag blue to people who sign up, I would go under page settings, rules, and make sure the tag blue is here. Now you may say like sign up page, right? So you may make that the tag that you apply. But yes, it will function and allow you to apply a tag to people who sign up that way. And the nice thing about that is you can then export only people who signed up through your sign up page and import them into ActiveCampaign.
Is this tag going to show up on the attendee page? It's
yes.
not.
Oh,
so
yes. Yeah. It will show up under the attendee page. Yes.
But it won't show up in ActiveCampaign, and that's what you said. Don't mess with all that, right?
It won't show up in ActiveCampaign because we don't apply tags like that backwards into ActiveCampaign.
Okay, well, I discovered something new. Thank you.
Look at you go.
All right. Our next question's from David. He wants to know if the marketplace templates will be applicable across all the Obvio dashboard templates.
Yeah, the Obvio dashboard templates and the marketplace templates are completely unrelated. So regardless of the template you choose for your dashboard, you can choose any template you want for your marketplace page and for your thank you pages.
Great. This one is from Sarah. What do you think about the time people should have to purchase tickets? Should they have access to buy it all the way up until the event ends? And when should they start having the opportunity to?
Yeah, I think this is really a business decision, not so much a technical or, even a software-based decision. So that's we have clients who allow tickets to be purchased all the way till the end of the event. We have clients who disable purchase at a certain point in the event, and we have some clients who disable purchase at the start of an event. So it really is a business decision more than it is a technical or a software decision. So something that you guys have to think about and decide. Cool.
All right. Amy wants to know if you could foresee using Marketplace to sell affiliate tickets with affiliate tags.
So not cleanly. What I will say is you could, like, I'll give you a potential solution for it, but it's not something for like hundreds of affiliates. This would work well if you had like 2 or 3 affiliates or 5 or maybe even 10. And what you could do is you could have a general admission pay ticket that is on your, inside of tickets, right? So you'd have, just rename this one general admission, right? And then you could have another one that's called general admission grant. Okay. And then you could apply the tag grant, and we could make this ticket hidden but active. So now when I click save, this particular ticket won't show up on the ticket purchase page. So if I go down here, you see only general admission shows up here, right? And if I go and I preview the page, then the same thing happens, only the general admission ticket shows up. However, if I go under tickets and I click the little copy button next to Grant's ticket and open up a new tab and paste that link in, now I'm going to get a page that looks very, well, broken. So I'll have to double check on that. But basically what you should be getting is you get a page that looks like the marketplace page. It looks exactly the same, except at the ticket selector point, only Grant's ticket is visible. So technically that would work, but it's not necessarily a scalable solution. If you're looking for big affiliate management, that may be a different solution that you're looking for.
Sounds like a wrench hammer to me.
Okay. David wants to know if there is a DPI recommendation for background images.
72.
Not really. No, yeah, 72 DPI is the web standard. And the thing that's happening, particularly with backgrounds, is that it's squashing that, it's scaling it to make it work anyway. And so it is actually increasing the way that it would work on a high DPI device will work fine anyway, because it's kind of generally it's squashing it in to make it work. So just do it at 72. Generally do it about 2000 pixels wide, and you should be pretty happy.
And then his next question was, is there an Obvio style sheet for image sizes and resolutions for graphic assets?
Nope.
No, it varies greatly.
Yeah.
David,
it has to do with responsiveness and responsive design, right? Because every user, every attendee, or most attendees, even if they have the same screen and the same screen size, aren't all looking at the dashboard in a window that is the same size. So, current, I'll just say, development standards for websites are to make them responsive and allow them to scale up and scale down, all the way down to, mobile device, all the way up to an ultra wide screen. And, we generally say that try things out and then see what it looks like on different size screens, because it's going to look different. And it's by design, it's supposed to look different.
Okay. And then the last question was from Kevin. He wants to know what would cause his FPS and resolution of stream coming into Obvio's Zoom to drop hugely down to 360 by 620. He said his camera was set up right, Zoom video settings set to be HD. What could possibly throttle the Zoom stream?
Yeah, Zoom's
I think he's gone
Zoom's
now anyway, but yes.
resolution is like a little bit of black magic. And I don't mean black magic the company, but it's kind of this unique, you never really know. I clicked HD, but I'm not transmitting in HD. Part of it is out of your control, right? If you have everything set up right, but if all of your attendees are watching your event in gallery view, then Zoom doesn't require an HD feed. And as a result, it won't pull an HD feed from your camera, even if you have everything set up right. But if you do have one user who is watching the video feed through a window that is big enough to require an HD feed, then Zoom will send an HD feed through. That is general rule of thumb. We have seen varied instances of every once in a while, Zoom's frame rates will drop randomly, but that's pretty rare and has been generally only in really large scale meetings. And it's usually temporary. And there's no way that we have found yet to fix it. And that's even with talking to Zoom at, I mean, I wouldn't say the highest levels, but pretty high. So, Kevin,
Cool.
hope you're watching the recording.
So we've got a question from the Facebook group that was just around putting a video on the tech check step and potentially doing like a button to skip tech check. I can show that, or Blue, do you want to show that?
Sure. So we would generally call this like a self check-in. So inside of Tech Check, there's what I'll call an advanced level move, which is the ability to, by default, the check-in button goes to the area that is assigned to it. So in this case, it's help desk right now, but usually it would be like the Tech Check area or whatever you're using. But you can change this to be a custom button. And when you do that, you can go into that button and you can have the button join Tech Check, or you can have the button check in. And when you have the button check in, now when the user clicks that button, it will take them to the dashboard and check them in or complete their Tech Check. And then if you wanted to put a video above it, you would just go into the gear for the text above that and insert that video through either the media URL or by using the HTML embed code if you're using an unsupported video host. But video hosts, the video hosts that you can use with the media URL are Searchy, YouTube, Vimeo, and Wistia. So if you're using one of those four services to host your video, you'll be able to use the insert media to insert a video right above the Tech Check option. So
And then you could add
sorry,
an extra button to give the option, right, to either skip I'm good, I know what I'm doing, or actually I'd like to talk to someone and just double check my Zoom. So you just add another button and create that to say to go to the tech check area. So Liberty, I hope that helps you understanding how to put a video in for tech check and the buttons you can do. Great. That's somehow we managed to only be a couple of minutes over. It's impressive.
Heather was positive. There's no way this is ending at 7 o'clock.
That's right. Exactly.
Listen, that's why I messaged you guys. I made sure it ended at 7 o'clock.
Oh, that's right. You were cracking the whip. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. We will be back at the same time next week. Just remember that you can post questions anytime, right? So that you can follow the same link you did, go to the dashboard, enter a question, and then come back and watch the recording later if you can't make it. We will continue to answer questions even if you're not here. And you can check the recording afterwards. So post questions anytime that you think of them. Awesome. Yeah, happy 4th, everyone. It's actually 4th of July here. I'm already celebrating your independence. So congratulations, everyone.
That's awesome.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.